Hello, everybody, respected seniors, eminent speakers for the session, and my dear professional colleagues. A very good evening to one and all. I, CA Paramveer Kaur, moderator for the webinar, would like to thank each one of you for joining this webinar on Riding the Technology Wave by Professional Accountants, organized by Digital Accounting and Assurance Board of ICAI. South Asian Federation of Accountants, a network partner of IFAC, comprises of 11 accountancy bodies in South Asian regions, namely India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Maldives, Afghanistan, Bhutan, where no accountancy body exists, has been given an observer status. SAFA has undertaken the leadership role in providing a new direction to the accountancy profession within the region, and this apex body has over 4 lakh members affiliated with its member bodies. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is one of the founder members of SAFA and also hosts its permanent secretariat at New Delhi. As we all know, one of the most significant impacts of technology on accounting practices has been the automation of routine tasks. Tasks such as data entry, bookkeeping, and reconciliation can now be automated, freeing up the accountant's time to focus on more complex tasks such as financial analysis and strategic planning. To enlighten us on such an important topic, we have two eminent speakers with us today. To start with this webinar, I would like to introduce CA Charanjot Singh Nanda, Chairman, Digital Accounting and Assurance Board of ICAI. CA Charanjot Singh Nanda is Chairman of Internal Audit Standards Board, ICAI, Committee on Information Technology of South Asian Federation of Accountants, and also Vice Chairman, Banking, Financial Services and Insurance Committees, ICAI. He has also been the Chairman and Vice Chairman for many committees previously. Members of Quality Review Board set up by the Government of India. He has also contributed as a guest faculty and program coordinator at various seminars and conferences organized by international bodies and Northern Indian Regional Councils of ICAI, WIRC, CIRC, EIRC, SIRC, and branches and study circles of NIRC of ICAI. I request you, sir, to please deliver your welcome address.
Thanks a lot, Paramveer. The Honorable President of SAFA, past President SAFA, my elder brother C.N. Nihar Jambusaria. Let us first of all congratulate him. His son has been conferred a great title, a proud father of 2 sons, working extremely in a very defined sphere, bringing laurels to us. 2 of the very revered speakers, Mr. Sridharan and Mr. Srivatsan, and all members from all 7 SAFA countries who have joined to go home more night. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you one thing very clearly, very candidly, very forthcomingly. Ultimately, this profession shall be guided by technology. And today's topic, riding the technology wave by professional accountants, is most apt. As you all know, that SAFA comprises of chartered accountants and ICWAs. So the word professional accountant is coined to bring both of them under the same platform. Technology gives us 3 very important things. The first important thing, technology gives us a system where we feel that sampling has been obsolete. Now you don't go for sampling. When you have technology at your command, you go through the entire database and try to bring out something which is not in the right stream, which you can call as exception reporting. Second thing, computers don't have wives. They don't have husbands either. So you can finish the timelines at the right time. You can meet the deadlines. You can always estimate, like you use a GPS. Very effectively, I had to go for dinner to Nihar's house. I said, how much time it takes? He said, 45 minutes. I looked at the GPS. It showed 1 hour 41 minutes. And exactly 1 hour 41 minutes, I was with the Honorable President at his place having the dinner. So technology gives us exact time. And third, technology gives us an era which is error-free. The results of technology cannot be changed. And very rightly said, in today's time, neither dollar nor oil nor gold rules the roost. The roost is ruled by data. But data in itself is not sufficient. how you want to do analysis of the data as an analyst and bring out something that may be for use of the board or to the audit committee, as the case may be. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to very candidly put across that this profession of accountants shall touch unprecedented heights if each one of us are technology compliant. I want to tell you the number of people may not be technology compliant, and for that we have announced a very gracious program. The name of the program is Technology for Non-Technology Chartered Accountants, and that is being percolated to all SAFA countries. May it be India, may it be Pakistan, may it be Bangladesh, may it be Nepal, may it be Maldives, may it be Bhutan. All across this program shall be put into the right esteem. To end, I would like to tell you that time has come when we gear ourselves to add value and worth by understanding things. Three important things: use technology. Number two, understand the scope of work and deliverables which is expected of you. And third, deliver to your clients or stakeholders or regulators or to the government what is desired at the right time. My dear friends, there is an old couplet for us, I'm saying for us chartered accountants, because now chartered accountants have reached a pedestal. And Indian chartered accountants particularly, Indian professionals particularly, where the entire world looks upon to us. People look to us for guidance. And the couplet says, Dete na the jo jawab, unke salam aane lage. Dete na the jo jawab, unke salam aane lage. Waqt badla, to mere neem ke ped par aam aane lage. My dear friends, we are now there harvesting the rich crops which our forefathers and forebears have created for us. So to give a concluding remark, I want to tell you that be technology compliant, understand technology, ride the technology wave, understand the latest which has now come into technology, and create value and worth for all. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And I would like to withdraw because I'm traveling. I'm in Karnal. For this session particularly, I came to my friend's office. Tomorrow is the convocation for all chartered accountants, newly qualified chartered all across. So I am taking care of the Delhi center. There are more than 2,000 chartered accountants, so I had to go there. My heartiest congratulations to all who could attend this, and more importantly, my best wishes to this webinar. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to introduce CA Nihar N. Jambusaria, President of South Asian Federation of Accountants SAFA, past President of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, a blend of erudition, experience, foresight, technical expertise, and professional excellence worth emulating, and a fellow chartered accountant. CA Jambusaria was also board member of Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority, Insurance Advisory Committee, and Apex Committee of IRDA, and member of SEBI's Primary Market Advisory Committee. He had also been nominated for the Services Sector Division Council's SSDC of Bureau of Indian Accountants, Indian Standards, and Chairman of Accounting and Finance Services, Sectional Committee of BIS. CA Jambusaria has been a prolific speaker at national and international forum. As an academician and an orator par excellence, he has attended and contributed to numerous national and international seminars. I request you, sir, to please address the participants.
Thank you, Paramveer. And there's two very learned faculties, Mr. Sridharan and Mr. Srivasthan. All the participants, chairperson of this committee, CA Charanjot Singh Nandaji. I welcome you to this series of webinars, particularly on technology. And let me congratulate Nandaji that for the whole year, one after the other, almost every week you have organized at least one webinar on technology, that too on different topics, covering almost everything, right from the basics of technology relevant for professional accountants to the structured data, clean data, data alchemy, cyber security, and more particularly, all these webinars are aimed at providing very useful aspects of technology which are very much relevant for professional accountants. Recently, if you see in newspapers, we read the news of many IT companies weeding out many employees and reducing their strength in the IT sector. But when it comes to professional accountants, I think the need for technology driven professional accountants is going to increase day by day. We have seen era when we were preparing accounts ourselves, making entries in the books of account, then organizing the financial statements in readable form, in forms which would facilitate the information which is required in the desired form. Lot of time it was taking. But now with the help of technology, if we clean up the data and structure them properly, it would provide accurate information with utmost efficiency in such a way that it would be the job of professional accountants to straight away use that data for the purpose of interpretation and for the purpose of guiding clients or businesses. And that is what professional accountants are required to do. Another fear that some of the functions of accountants may be taken over by technology is really out of place, because this data can be structured and organized properly. But the interpretation aspect is always left to human mind. So going forward, chartered accountants, professional accountants will be able to focus on more and more important aspects of this profession, and that is interpretation and right advising. And this committee is doing wonderful work for the entire year. Year is coming to an end. It is from January to December at SAFA. And I can say in November that so many webinars and programs have been organized on technology that our members would feel very happy and satisfied with the kind of knowledge they've got from these webinars. Still 2 months are left. If you want any particular topic to be organized by the committee, you may write to the chairperson. And I think Nandaji will be very happy to organize even on those topics. So with this, I wish the webinar all the success, and I'm sure the participants will have a lot of value add from both the speakers today. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Moving forward with this webinar, I would now like to introduce our first speaker, CA Sridharan Srinivasan. Over 11 years in finance division with public and private sector enterprise. Over 13 years in software industry with leading MNCs in India and abroad. 11 years into chartered accountancy professional practice. He is an exclusive blend of business management and technology expertise, rich experience in finance analytics, financial planning, analysis, enterprise resource planning, business resource process engineering, and enterprise performance management. He has been guest faculty in various institutions on several topics like strategic planning, soft skills, how to read financial statements, ERP, and forensics, etc. We welcome you, sir, and request you to please enlighten us on this very important topic for the professionals.
Thank you very much, Pramveer, for your piece of introduction. I think both the speakers, the existing chairman of DAAB and Niharji, have kind of taken away the sum of the thoughts, whatever I had today. However, it gives me immense pleasure, friends and professional colleagues, to be part of this very thought-provoking seminar, I would say, or webinar, for that matter. With that, I'll get into the specific. Already we have 10-15 minutes past the scheduled time. We will try to use the time the best possible way for the members to benefit. Let me also tell you quickly before I get on to my presentation that I am not an expert. However, I am only sharing my knowledge which I have gained over a period of close to 3 decades. across technology, our finance profession, consulting, so on and so forth. Having said that, please feel free to give your inputs so that we collectively grow and enjoy ourselves in an empowered way. Let me open my presentation just a second. My screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Uh, let's get started. Friends, we are going to get into a stage wherein the audit process, which all of us are kind of familiar with. However, I'm going to talk how to connect technology and how to leverage technology to the best benefit of our profession and the way we deliver values to clients. That's the fundamental, according to me. So we will cover broadly these topics today with an intro of the finance professional and what are the audit risks in the current scenario, how the audit landscape is changing for now and for future. All of us talk about ERP, but what are the myths around ERP? I will take a deep dive, not that I'm going to move from one slide to another, from this dimension on how are you going to handle these utilizing technology. And before I conclude, I would like to offer 5 different tips for successful audit execution. Again, it is not going to be exhaustive. At the same time, it will give perhaps the tips of the iceberg. Okay, typically, when I say seasoned finance pro, what is that? Essentially, not because of numbers of years of experience one must be putting in the profession or otherwise. I'm talking about the mindset part. I've seen in my career who are people who have crossed 70s, well past 70s, getting into the knowledge springboard, learn anything which is coming up on the way. I've also seen very young chartered accountants, maybe in the early 30s or mid 30s, saying, technology is not going to replace me. Why should I bother? So, age is up for a number. It is the mindset which matters a lot. So the word innovation, and particularly technology innovation, how that is being digested by many of our professional fraternity is one could be talking about, I'm a very established professional. Nobody can replace me. That's the thought. And technology, we are saying it is invading, it is exploding. What does this mean for finance, the profession? Then all of us have been thinking that is technology going to bring the single version of truth? Another intriguing question could be, can technology replace human intelligence and wisdom? Friends, here I just want to highlight the explosion which AI is making us little jittery. And as we are still grappling with artificial intelligence, Silicon Valley is moving towards autonomous intelligence. And that is going to be even more nerve-wracking. Moving further, is the machine going to perform a task or a process with intelligence? The quotient of intelligence which we are ourselves boasting of, a big challenge. Is technology a boon or bane? We have been talking about this topic for years, for decades now, but still there are lingering doubts, lingering skepticism in the minds of people that is it a boon or a bane? And more particularly in the current day context, as we are springboard into the technology well, we should be bothered about, am I referring to the right data? Because I'm answerable. My professional responsibility and professional etiquette make me hard spell on this particular thought. That is, am I referring to the right data? And how do I ensure data integrity? There could be multiple questions. Some questions could be relevant, irrelevant, but all these are lingering. Perhaps, as Nandaji was highlighting earlier, we are little hesitant, maybe due to complacency, or maybe due to that I have well past my time, or whatever could be the reason. We are always, accountants typically have the mindset of not accepting anything in the prima facie value. But today technology is no more prima facie. It is already disrupting. It is transforming the world. And let's see what to move forward. With the specific topic, how do we look at what it risks today? Now, all of us understand the risk. I'm not going to talk about the fundamentals or the conceptual part of it. But given the current scenario of chartered accountant being pulled apart by judiciary on one front, business leaders on the other front, regulators, so on and so forth. There were times when an auditor certifies the financial statement, no question was asked. Various reasons, ecosystem has changed today. And the key element here is probability of having errors in our financial statement. To what extent it is affecting business adversely. More pertinently, when it is already verified and certified by auditors, professional accountants, it becomes even more bothering for all of us. Now, we have been talking about, as I told you, I'm not going to read through the slides. However, I will be focusing only on the specific elements. I've got about 60 odd slides. I will have about 70 minutes or so. In that time, even passing through the slide will take just a minute for a slide, but that's not the intention. I'm going to share some of my practical thoughts. Kindly hold on. Our focus must be to answer these four fundamental questions. Is the source of data or the origin of data well known, is it authentic, and it be relied upon? Second, that it is easily accessible. We all know controls. We've been talking about system level control, etc., etc. How easily data must be accessible for the stakeholders. I was talking about integrity. Data integrity. We've been boasting, saying that our profession is always looking for maintaining highest level of integrity in the space in which we are offering our services. Same logic holds good for data. That means data integrity has to be assured. And single version of truth. When we say single version of truth, what is important is each one might have his or her own dimension as a stakeholder. whether it has been agreed upon is the first here. We have all been slowly, friends, by my experience in the field of technology and consulting and finance, I can say slowly audit is becoming part of operations. The governance, risk and compliance is slowly becoming an operational risk. And that is where tools such as Archer, MetricStream, etc., are actually making our professional job, professional standing, professional status as well, little bit questionable. Some of the key problems or challenges of auditing today. The environment is impacting us like crazily, I would say. They say environment, the changing dimension, change from technology, change from business process, change from the way models are operating. Fundamentally, with globalization, which is now almost 3 decades plus, which India is actually facing, has made us very, very different. On occasions, we become very vulnerable. On the other side, we become rather questionable. Our actions, our certificates, our function is being questioned. What is the output? This is actually happening everywhere today. Right from a very small entrepreneur all the way to the audit committees or the boards of very, very enlightened enterprise in India and globe are asking a basic question. What is that value add which audit as a function provides to me, provides to my business? And this question we can never afford to miss out. We are subject to answer this question in whatever way we are supposed to handle this. Quality of end results. This I mean by the audit. Again, my earlier thought with respect to output holds good here as well. The quality. Nobody is bothered today with complying to the regulations, but they are worried about what is that the audit as a function is adding value to my business. Efficiency. This is again a measure of output. And of course, return on investment. It might be, we might be having, I remember when I was doing my articles, late 80s, it was never questioned upon as from a dimension of ROI. Today, world can now, finally, the impact. This was what I was talking about earlier as well. What is the impact of audit function in organization effectiveness? We all know what do we mean by effectiveness in a business standpoint. And everyone, every stakeholder, when I say stakeholder, all the way from different functions or departments in an organization, all the way to external stakeholders like regulators, investors, so on and so forth. They are actually looking at the impact, the effectiveness of audit, the output of audit. Friends, I am moving further how the audit landscape is changing. It's already changing a bit here and there, but the way is heading for the future is where I'm going to share my thoughts. Fundamentally, there are two types of audit as you are aware of. At least 90-95% of our coverage would be on financial statement audits and the internal audit, though there are so many other length and breadths of audit. Fundamentally, these two. Let us understand It is always walking on a tightrope or trade-off between traditional methodologies, the way we conduct our audit, and new methods driven through technology. And auditors, when the tools are available, when the technology is there at a handshake distance, why not engage? And this question is not being asked by our fellow chartered accountants, or fellow accountants. It's being asked by business owners, our clients. Audits have already become semi-automated because, as I told you, ever since our third world countries, because of the impact of globalization, have become slowly, but very slowly, let me be honest here, we are still in a semi-automated state. Fortunately, unfortunately. But the way rapidly it's changing, unless we keep pace, is rather going to be a challenging. I would rather say it is making us very, very vulnerable and weak. The way judiciary is questioning us with respect to documentation. I think Nanda was mentioning about sampling. To touch upon the topic a little later as well. A very, I think I would entire audit bedrock is on sampling. Remember, that is going to be non-existent. Not just because of technology. I think we need to be innovative in our approach. Let me also give you this bit of information here. Whatever technology we are going to use, including AI or future autonomous intelligence, it is our judgment, it's our professional judgment and our way of approaching things. That is where we are going to make a difference. I think each one of our professional accountants should stand tall in this particular skill, so called, with respect to how are we approaching things. But all we know, 100% audit, not at all feasible given the timelines. If that is the case, what is the alternate? One can always say, Excel can give me that, AI can give me this, so on and so forth. Forget it. We are talking about relevancy. There is always a mix between the professional judgment and the way we are able to analyze and the way we are able to conclude our findings. Working papers, again, barring very established audit organizations like Big Four and the top league or tier 1 audit firms are following or kind of at least process driven. But many, I would say, at least in the SAFA countries, 80% of the audit firms are still not giving sufficient focus on working papers. And that's a very gray area. Essentially, with more and more scandals, more and more grapevine on audit profession, I think we have to be standing amidst these kind of blames. And unless we standardize our practice, it is going to be rather difficult. Another important dimension is data analytics. It's a very wide term, but technology gives us the right perspective to data. I think we have to use technology from that dimension alone. Our professional ability would always be there, and especially on audit testing part. Now, what are the key benefits to practitioners with respect to data analytics? From the focus of auditors, it is now going to be risk prone. So we need to focus on risks, and clients are looking at us as professionals. How do they mitigate those risks? On one side, regulators are kind of screwing all possible gaps with stringent laws and regulations. On the other side, business competition is making them very, very, very difficult. And here is where we play a role of an enabler. Next, data analytics provides a very, very different client service. It gives insight, not only the particular organization data, it gives a panoramic view, the interfirm comparison, industry benchmarks, so on and so forth. And finally, the complex areas where we can cut down on time and bring in more efficiency, where audit risk is going to be really hampering the way we are offering our services. Now, these are the key opportunities which I could look for. One is enhanced audit quality, improvised customer service, and increased effectiveness. Under each, we got some specific points. Enhanced audit quality gives us identifying issues earlier, and more specifically with technologies, we can test larger population of data. Higher quality audit evidence, very, very important at this point in time, and the times ahead. Improvised client service, again, communication, possibility to visualize results. I think clients have been complaining about audit as a function is we are after all doing a post-mortem. I think the way forward is going to be visualizing, envisioning the future, at least to a bearable level. And finally, on the effectiveness side, you have to look at better informed assessments. Focus is going to be on yes, more timely reporting. And this is again, we have been talking about the post-mortem a little while ago. Timely reporting, where it can help, it can enable businessmen to take decisions on time, ahead of time, so that they can manage competition well. Without talking AI, artificial intelligence, in this technology era, I would be a fool. So, AI's role in audit lifecycle is extremely critical from that perspective. One, from scope of automation, the way we are going to plan, I'm not going to read this slide as I told you, the way we are going to do our field work, and of course, reporting. Especially on reporting, we need to look beyond the current data. We need to look at the key issues the industry is facing, the key issues geographically an organization is facing, the key issues which audit-based analysis is going to provide to them. And the key things which as professionals we are bothered is reporting. And reporting cannot come out of the blue unless we set up the right environment, unless we plan with right kind of resources, right kind of skills, and of course, our modus operandi. All of us think ERP, though ERP is there in the market space for over 2.5 decades, still there are lots and lots of conclusions about ERP, both from business side as well as from professional side. From a business standpoint, many leaders, industry leaders think after implementation of ERP, done and dusted. ERP will take care of everything. A huge myth. On the other side, accountants, we think if an organization is running on ERP, we can rely much more and we can be confident about the output or the data which is given to us. Friends, very sorry to state this. Definitely not. We will see some of the myths as we move forward. The problem statement is fraud on the ERP system is actually getting into a danger zone. Another ground reality is even today, many C-level business leaders are ignoring this aspect. And don't look at the number, 500,000, etc. That's immaterial. But it's actually taking the world by storm with respect to the threat of ERP frauds. Now, what could go wrong with respect to ERP? Access control. And here is where auditors have to be hands-on technology people. They cannot be relying on the composition of team with technical people part of the team. I would safely say today, especially for people who have got the whole career in front of them, be a hands-on technocrat. Otherwise, we are going to get hook-based. We all remember, I think it was taking the entire country by storm when one of our fellow members from western part of our country brought out an audit tool. The tool could do complete audit in less than few minutes. Unfortunately, that is not being talked about for days or years or months. But please remember, that is the paradox we are running against. We need to be ahead of time. Then, dummy enterprise fraud. We all know the Satyam episode. A perfect example in this. There are so many other examples. I'm just talking about one. Manipulation of financial reports. This is a very common thing every day. And this is actually a key spanner on the performance. Look at the investors' wealth getting wiped off in no time, which we are seeing so many empires today. The types of errors are three-dimensional, I would call. Main, machine, process. Then comes the why part. Why ERP is so susceptible despite its strength? Few of the thoughts are here. The security process is actually, I think, the fraudsters are beating the way ERP is actually structured or configured in many organizations. They are able to bypass. As you all know, fraudsters know the ways and means of beating the intent of any of the regulation, any of the technological tool as well. We all know the sensitive access and segregation of duty. Though we have been talking about this, please remember all these things as auditors today. We need to give enough trust as part of our audit. That is where technology we are leveraging. It is not just be on paper. And not only knowing this concept, fundamentally, are we implementing these as part of our audit methodology. Because every company today is into technology. They are leveraging technology for their business benefits in whatever form and shape. But as auditors, are we using the right tools? And the moment we are saying right tools, all these controls come in, processes come in. Of course, we need to weigh the size of the organization, investment, and the time to deliver. All these three factors are important. Doesn't mean we can ignore any of these. Then comes impact analysis, both existing risk and emerging risks. Now, another important thing is responsibility towards ownership, accountability. Auditors are no more a safe zone with respect to accountability. Finally, root cause driven approach. And that is one of the major areas why RPs are becoming very, very vulnerable. And the third dimension is, when should we plan this? How do we factor these into our approach of audit? Our approach with respect to resolution has to be feed-forward, must be concurrent, must be on feedback basis. I think what we have been taking shelter all along, auditors are not, or watchdogs are not bloodhounds, all that. I think those era is over. Today, we are, and we are indeed, because our neck is on the block. Unless we deliver, we are going to be heckled for that. So management orientation, this I've been talking about. Remedial measures, time-bound action, and this again, the last point, right signals to stakeholders. I've been talking about this earlier as well. Now, what is the recommended solution with respect to your auditing ERP environment? Please make the intent or role of an auditor to every stakeholder ahead of time. Prepare your plan from fraud perspective. Need not be a forensic, but at least keeping in mind the perspective of fraud. Adopt right tools, because fraudsters, they are becoming smarter and smarter. Naturally, not only for audit as a function, everywhere. And this stakeholders diversification is actually taking us by storm. When we are saying review, supposing if we are standing in front of an audit committee today for an MNC, with investors coming from different backgrounds, the basic question asked to auditor today is, are you convinced? Are you prepared to sign off our ability to withstand risks? And here is where sustainability, social auditing, so on and so forth, those kinds of clouds coming into normal business era, actually we are getting into a very different dimension today. The organizational culture, very steadily, though little slowly on the front, is becoming process driven than personnel driven. Discretions are becoming lesser and lesser. And that actually pushes us to be process driven from audit standpoint. And here is where we need to use the right tools, right techniques, because how do we how do we really put across our views or opinions, which is of highest quality, which is of highest integrity, and more importantly, substantiated by right tools and right evidences. Finally, the compliance level is becoming both horizontally and vertically very complex. Industry level, entity level, geographical level, regulators level, so on and so forth. Because the industry specific regulators have got so many that they are expecting from auditors. Financial control test. We all know this. Already we are getting into IFC. The design, our focus on design must be 80% and only 20% should be operations. Whereas today what we are doing is vice versa. We are not at all focusing on design. We are focusing more on activity level. And as auditors, we should understand the data flow. For that, we need to understand the application architecture. Friends, don't think these are jargons outside our periphery. When we are talking about IT security measures to protect vulnerabilities, that's what I was talking about. We need to be hands-on. When I say hands-on, not knowing how to operate a computer. Forget it. Even today, a newborn, the way they are operating mobile phones, speak volumes. And finally, ERP does it all, the attitude. I was talking about this before I start off the minutes. How do we handle them as auditors? We need to look at, we should know how to conduct system audit. Let me put it across. Because businesses are driven by technologies. When businesses are driven by technologies, audit, which is an enabling function, must also be leveraging, or for that matter, using the right technology and tools. Continuous monitoring and GRC. I told you, my gut feel with technology sweeping, audit as a function might not exist on its own. It has to coexist with operational risk people, which is also technology, which is also processes, which is also audit. Means we need to coexist. Audit function needs coexist along with the operational effectiveness tools and enablers. And unless we are now shifting our focus to red flags, we are not addressing the impending frauds. We all know what are red flags. And again, friends, let me highlight, don't be just riding on concepts. We need to be hitting the ground with right evidences, right approach. And the next point is financial controls. We all know this. Are we adopting this in the part of audit? We need to measure the adequacy, which is multidimensional. A key dimension is size of business. Second, the industry to which the particular business belongs to, because certain industries are more regulators driven, like investment banking. And unless we are hands-on technology minded, controls can fool us, because we should know in the current world how we need to be smart in developing controls in our audit programs. And finally, how do we handle the SOD matrix control mechanism? Very, very critical. SOD, we have been talking about this. Even for every organization, actually, this matters. May not be on the same scale, but certainly yes. Now, the next set of slides, we are all familiar with the process. I am going to touch upon only where technology is going to be leveraged. So don't get confused. I am going to walk through the entire flow of audit. I am sure the audience here, each professional is well versed in the audit process and they're all masters of the game. Today's topic and my focus is going to be in that process flow where technology can be leveraged to our best ability. And I may skip 2 slides for one want of time. They are just giving us the flow, but not really the knowledge gainer through this particular discussion. What is critical here is the way we are going to assess the risks. We need to be more conscious about risk assessments. And how do we strategize our audit plan? As I told you, the conclusion of this audit methodology must give us the right frame, right confidence, more importantly, client communication. How do we go ahead in planning for risk identification and how audit methodology is going to help us? Let me have a quick time check for myself. Okay, at 7 o'clock. I got close to half an hour on my okay. So we all know the risk. But what is critical about risk is what we are generally perhaps ignoring is the likelihood of risk hitting a particular business, hitting a particular control, and thereby is going to adversely affect. We all know different categories of risk: the financial risk, operational risk, so on, so market risk, business risk, etc., etc. What is extremely critical is reputational risk. The reputational risk is what is going to be of paramount importance in the current context and the days to come. How are we going to plan ourselves with respect to execution of our audit plan? Understand the entry-level controls. Understand the risks of material misstatement due to fraud. I think these are the 2 focus areas wherein technology would play a pivotal role. And our strategy would be to understand the general IT controls. And how are we going to evaluate the IT controls? Each organization will have its own IT controls. It is very critical for auditors to understand, one, what is this business, and whether the controls are commensurate with respect to the particular business. I think here is where wisdom provides. Auditors, I think today, are no more financial auditors. We are business auditors. To justify that role, we need to understand much more than finance. As simple as that. So we need to look at the entry level controls and the risks which could potentially derail the financial statements. Now, there are 4 types of risks. And again, auditors must be conscious of this dimension. The business risk, significant risk. We have been talking about materiality, right? All along, even today. Many of us, we are trying to get management representation letters and take shelter, so on and so forth. No more we are going to be protected with indemnities going sky high. There are always business risks and inherent risks with respect to transactions, with respect to misstatement. And our focus must be on the significance of those risks and how controls, either through technology or through audit, are going to potentially combat those risks. Now, we all know the significant risks are which are very high likelihood of occurrence and which could potentially give a very wrong conclusion about an organizational ability from finance and other perspectives. Now, components of internal control. Don't get confused with internal audit or whatever. When we say internal control, those are controls which are established within an organization or converting the transactions, converting their business transactions into data. Fortunately, unfortunately, we come from the end beginning. And here is where I was earlier mentioning our focus should be on design, design of system, design of control, design of data flow, design of application. And unless we come to terms and clearly focus on that, we might perhaps miss our end goal of eventually. I think that statement has not changed when we are wearing the hat of an auditor. An audited statement has got so much value for the society. Leave alone the business. Even today, financial institutions, they lend based on auditor statement to make our presence counted. Unless we give them the comfort, the stakeholders are far too many today in every business. And each business provides a very different dimension, as we all aware. Now, what are the critical disclosures? We all know qualitative consideration. And here is where our challenge lies. When we say, what are the possibilities of misstatement and associated risks with respect to sensitivity of the information? As I was talking about various types of risk, one is business risk, which is very closely related with reputational risk. And when we know, and as auditors, it's very paramount important that we come from the background of certifying accounts, certifying the sustainability of business. And with social audit kind of concept, steeping. Because I think the social audit is going to be perhaps one of the key elements for a decade ahead now. And for that, unless we stand up to the occasion, and that is where sensitivity of the information or data would play a pivotal role. And the way we are structuring our procedures. Please remember, times are not far away when auditors, I see this a very possible scenario. Perhaps judiciary is questioning our working papers today. In future, they might even question our ability to conduct audit, not because of our qualification, but the way. I think judiciary perhaps might ask our planning document. What are the factors we have considered to develop the audit plan? What are the assumptions we have made? What are the dependencies? And the way audit as a function itself, run by professionals, is being carried out. Because everyone is relying on audited statement. And when the methodology of audit itself cannot provide the confidence, today they are blaming system. They are blaming regulations. They are blaming businessmen committing fraud. Sooner than later. Only during scams, only during scandals, auditors are being commented upon, criticized upon. Sooner than later, we are going to be questioned on the way we are designing our audit plan. For that, unless we take technology together with us, it is rather going to be very difficult and complex. Because why technology? Like audit, technology is an enabler. As simple as that. If we join forces together, mind it, the results are going to be exorbitantly beneficial to every stakeholder. But we are going to be at crossroads, and that's a huge problem. There's going to be a blame game. And unfortunately, auditors cannot escape the way we are trying to position ourselves. As I told you, when we are setting our goals, assess the risk, assess the exposure, and design the controls. Friends, these words are not just motherhood statements or jargons. In our audit plan, unless, and as I told you, just because I was talking about judiciary or any other persons are going to question, including business people, perhaps, they will fundamentally question us, how did we conduct this audit? Given this environment, and we all know the first step in our audit plan is understanding business. Without understanding business, we cannot devise an audit plan. And when we are going to understand the business, when technology is being adopted to the extent of 75, 80, 85, 90%, businesses are going to rely on technology, and audit as an enabler naturally must use right technology or sail together with technology so that we deliver value. That is where the whole thing lies. Now, as I told you, there are two important things in our planning or execution, I would say. First is discussion of a likelihood of fraud and error. We are very cozily talking about financial misstatements. And then intent of those and post interim event. Here is where the cross section of planning and execution comes into play. And when we are talking about controls to be tested, when we are talking about walkthroughs, when we are talking about understanding the IT application, unless we are very smart and unless we embed the approach in our audit plan, friends, we are going to fail royally. And our failure, people are waiting. And unless we scale, and if you are able to do this properly, trust me, we can deliver value. And if you are not able to, then there's a huge problem. And we need to smartly escort what is commonly known as the significant classes of transaction. 80-20 rule applies here. Only 20% of transactions are 80% significant, which have got impact on disclosures, which has got impact on processes. The three-dimensional approach which I touched upon earlier, people, process, system. These three-dimensional approach, whether we do stat audit, whether we do internal audit, whether we do any kind of audit, unless we reckon these three dimensions, please understand we are not going to justify our role. That means, how do we identify these costs? We need to understand, we are very commonly using the term segmentation. That is nothing but identifying the classes of transactions or otherwise costs. And the moment we are able to design our audit strategy in such a way that IT applications are going to support the relevancy. Relevancy is one particular term which is going to run through the life cycle. Audit, business, and whatnot. As I told you, the critical part of these costs are very, very important, and that is where our business understanding or judgment come into play in a big way. And that is where we need to differentiate ourselves from the crowd. Please remember, I was reading an article very recently. The author compared a +2 level commerce student who is an expert in technology vis-a-vis some 3 decades practicing accounting. I'm not saying practicing accountant means a person not in practice. I'm talking about accounting professional, being in industry or practice. Then they have compared this to AI. The level of understanding the business, level of understanding data flow, etc., etc., etc. They found the author, please remember, was not from accounting background, or he or she was not against accounting profession, but her findings are very timely, very sensitive. Actually, it is sending us alarm bells. our finding was to the extent of 87% plus 2 hands-on technocrat could potentially do or deliver value as that of decades of a chartered accountant, or a cost accountant, or an accounting professional. Again, he was bringing out the mindset of chartered accountant or mindset of an accounting professional in my first slide. We cannot afford to be complacent. So, unless we select the relevant controls, we are going to be at the receiving end. What is critical here? Effectiveness of audit would bring in at the right time. Now, I think here this particular slide would cover the entire topic. How are we actually going to evaluate the financial controls? We can call it IFC, we can call it anything else. And how these controls are driven in a particular business with their general IT control, because businesses are driven by technology too. Our audit plan must be addressing these 3 layers or these 3 dimensions. One is managing change, because change is something happening every day. Second, logical access. I was talking about ERP, access to data, vulnerability, etc. Same thing. Then comes other corroborative or collaborative general controls. Our rationale must be to cover these 3 dimensions as our audit is getting executed. The way we can actually structure our audit and conduct our audit through a common parlance, that is understanding business. I would say, if we can apply this rule, we can be at least 90% safe and 90% professional in delivering value. When we are talking about risk components, I highlighted a significant risk. Here is where our risk assessment controls must be. Again, I can relate with materiality here with respect to control risk assessment. The same logic. Instead of focusing on materiality, focus on risk and our conclusion on risk assessment. And then accordingly pay our audit methodology. As simple as that. And our special audit considerations, if I recall, one of the clear stick came from ILFS ruling by judiciary was on auditors, auditing profession was, you have not paid enough trust, enough significance to your audit plan on special areas, key result areas. And for us, we had no answer, by the way, in front of judiciary. Now, here is what typically our procedures, how it can help us with respect to what extent we can rely on controls and to what extent we have to ignore, or we need to find better ways of evaluating controls. I think all of us would agree our function, audit function, is slowly becoming an assurance function. Assurance is nothing but bringing confidence to stakeholders, nothing else. Everyone knows that elimination is ruled out. But they all look at sustainability of business. Since technology is exploding, length and breadth of industry, audit cannot be far behind. And by our design, we should embrace, we should effectively use technology so that our job becomes easier, our jobs become more qualitative, and more importantly, we can prevent or detect. As I told you, our role, when we are wearing the role of an auditor, when we are wearing the hat of an auditor, that has not gone. It is century old. We cannot afford to allow misstatements in the financial position of an organization. That has not changed. We all know there are 4 dimensions: what, when, why, and how. While why and what remain almost static, when is becoming little aggressive today, the how part is where we need to focus. Auditing techniques have not changed. Results have not changed. How we make them, how we enable them, how we execute them have changed, and have changed significantly because technology and complexities involved. Finally, with respect to the procedures part, unless we come to substantive procedures and the higher risk assessment driven audit approach, we will be fundamentally missing on the elements which we need to focus on. Since I got about 5 minutes time, I will try to cover as much as I can, but not running through the slides, but giving enough stress to the areas which we need to look at. Now, as I was talking to you about, a couple of key assertions which as an auditor we need to plan our procedures are the rules and regulations, the litigations and claims, going concern. I was talking about sustainability. Sustainability possibly is a new term, going concern. With more and more scams bursting out because of related party transactions, related party implicit transactions. Auditor's job, I still remember, don't quote me anywhere, within this 4 walls, within our professional fraternity, LFAR, the long form audit report, was brought into force late 80s. To be very precise, it was in the year 1988. The memory is rather weak, you can correct me always. I know for sure about next 2 decades or maybe plus, RBI itself was not giving any importance to LFAR. Suddenly, due to scams, financial and otherwise, LFAR has become a nerve center. And by the way, even from very early days, LFAR is actually covering the entire spectrum of business, be it lending institutions, be it anything else. The form and shape could change, but from the coverage standpoint, it provides a lot of insight the way. And today our bank audits are driven by LFAR. Be it any audit, be it concurrent audit, revenue audit, statutory audit, so on and so forth. Everyone is focusing on going concern and obtaining management. This is one law of the town. Management representation. I was hinting about this earlier as well. Today we cannot go under the corporate getting representation letters. No more. And here is where our responsibilities. Our focus should be on interviews with right stakeholders. What do they expect? What do they observe from our earlier findings? And finally, testing. Testing on our audit plan, testing of controls, testing of risk windows, and therefore our responsibility should be on validations, on feedback, and of course on action plan. We spoke about audit population. Something very surely becoming extinct. Why? Earlier, data availability was a challenge. Today, data abundance is a challenge. Again, technology comes into its play. Unless as auditors, we use the right technology tools to cull out right data, smartly weed out unwanted data, and to look for relevant data. We would be losing sight of our own delivery, our own ability to deliver. Work papers, very critical. Once again, possibly we are, even for multinational organization today, we will be given 2 weeks to complete audit. I'm talking about financial statement audit. And to protect our own interest, we need to have very strong ethics on evidence-based audit planning, audit execution, audit findings, and audit reporting. For that, let me bet on here, unless and until we use technology to its maximum, we will not be justifying our role. And survive unless we are competent. The competency is just not our professional qualification or professional knowledge. Of course, combination of all, but when we can do better job through using right tools, why not? Why should we be hesitating? Please understand, as a reader of financial information, today in stakeholders meeting, shareholders meeting, auditors are questioned for how did we choose a particular mechanism of audit and how confident you are in your findings. And more importantly, they want us to come out clear with authenticity of our own conclusion on the ability of an organization to stand not only today but for the future. I don't want to waste time on our reporting, etc. One important thing, perhaps we need to segregate going forward with respect to reporting is, we ourselves as part of our planning should position our findings in green, amber, and red zones. from the perspective of risk, where we need to be looking for stakeholders to take immediate action, where we are skeptical about the processes, procedures, etc. Ultimately, we should give assurance to stakeholders. Now, we all know about internal audit. I'm not going to talk much about here. But slowly, internal audit is changing its demography. It is becoming more and more cost effective, whether it is delivering value from that perspective, whether it is innovative, whether it is aligned with business, whether it is giving the paradigm focus on service culture. This is actually riding the internal audit as a function. And finally, with respect to internal audit, unless we focus on system, procedure, risk, and interviews with people, we are going to be not justifying our role. Now, in the next few slides, I'm going to touch upon 5 important tips for successful audit execution. This is very important for all of us in the light of technology, in the light of business, and in the light of execution of audit. I will take approximately 5 to 7 minutes from here, not more than that. The first thing which we need to focus on, embrace use of technology in our audit process. Because though we have been talking in multiple dimensions, the financial reporting trends are evolving rapidly. We all know that. Demand for real-time information and on-demand reporting is taking center stage. The next point is very, very critical with respect to social audit, with respect to sustainability audit. Non-financial information, which as auditors, as financial auditors, we were not giving sufficient importance, is indeed the focus of many, many stakeholders. And than past data, emphasis is being on predictive, forward-looking information. And here is where procedures, practices, and using technologies of data analysis, artificial intelligence are actually going to play a vital role. Two, testing the entire population of data and dealing with exceptions should be part of our audit execution. Audit evidence, as I told you, should also be justifying the way we are designing our audit. And finally, data integrity. First, as an auditor, I should get convinced about source of data, validity of data, integrity of data. I should use right procedures so that the reliance is based on different source of data. And please remember, the rules are, the regulations are going to drive the show going forward. Engaging right skills. I made a motherhood statement a little earlier. Let us all become hands-on technology professionals. Don't consider technology as an omen. For our own survival, friends, unless and until we embrace, we are going to be extinct. So the honest statement, new set of skills we need to learn. continuous education is very important. Like technology, data modeling is becoming yet another area. Though we are all comfortable, we are living only in data. Data modeling is actually giving us sufficient cushion to combat complex environments. Unless and until we use audit analytics properly, we have to invest constantly on software and hardware. We need to understand cyber security. We need to understand potential threats from all over so that we stay ahead of competition. And finally, we need to look at our positioning. Auditors are no more just financial auditors. It is much, much beyond. People are looking at potential revenue leakage. AFC, we are slowly becoming familiarized, I would say, even today. We are not still masters of the game. How do we help them in improvising forecasting? How do we use predictive models? How do we really use potential losses? There's one question which is asked today to auditors is, are you convinced with the controls in place? Many times we fumble there, and we search for words. We all know we must come to terms with reality, survival. I'm sorry to use just the word chartered accountant. My intent was to use accountant, but accountant is a very lucid term. Possibly I should use a better word of professional accountant. My mistake. And looking at technology as a black box, consider it as an enabler and sail with it. And today, among our own fraternity, people who are using technology are head and shoulders above from the standpoint of business. We as professional colleague might not acknowledge it. Who cares? We should actually look for better optimization. And finally, we should play, or we should actually look at the role as a partner in two sense. My almost last slide here. How do we look at the potential for future? We can use technology in these areas, intercompany. Just a few examples here. It's not exhaustive list. We can use for reporting. We can use for financial analysis, of course, compliance and fraud detection. Where do we use our skill? We have to use it from business strategy. Financial engineering and re-engineering is a very, very important topic by itself. Financial data science, operations analytics, and more on advisory. Once again, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity and patient listening to the last 70 minutes. Thank you very much, BAAB and my professional colleagues. I'm really, really, really happy about it. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a detailed and informative session by you. As you have clarified everything in detail, we do not have any such questions from the participants as of now. And I would now like to introduce our second speaker, CA Srivatsan sir. He is an FCA, ACMA, and LCS and is a practicing chartered accountant. He started his career in the US healthcare space as a business reporting specialist in 2003. He became a part of a startup in 2011 in the same US healthcare space, which was later taken over by a large private equity. During these years, Sri innovated the way processes were managed, designed several business process workflows, and reporting for his entity and its clients, and pioneered bringing machine learning based solutions to business challenges in the US healthcare RCM space. Ever since becoming a CA in 2002, Sri pursued his passion for teaching by being a faculty for CA, CMA, and CS students. We welcome you here, sir, and request you to please present your deliberations before the participants.
Thank you so much, Parvi. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
So I'll share my screen, and what has happened is, say, talking after such an eminent faculty, it's going to put me under pressure, I strongly believe, because he has covered a lot of areas in the given 90 minutes. I'm not sure whether I would be able to do justice to this. So, but still, go ahead with my presentation. So riding the technology wave, that's the topic we have for the day. And say if you're talking about riding a wave, which means something good is happening, you are getting into that and progressing very fast. So that is the idea of riding the technology wave. And this is for our professional accountants across all these 11 members of SAFA and all our other accounting bodies other than Chartered Accountancy, ICAI, who are all part of this board. So this is happening not just for us, it's happening for the entire world, so a world of accountants. So starting from the entry-level accountants who are completing their graduation and getting into accounting, so till the highest level of say professionals who are providing top-notch services to various organizations. So think of our syllabus when we were all, so even now, say when you're looking at rectification of errors as a chapter, we used to study about posting errors, casting errors, and all that. Today, those cannot happen because all your technology-driven applications, your say accounting solutions you have, the ERPs you have, will not let you move forward without even a journal entry being tallied. So when a journal entry tallies and you have posted debit to one account and credit to one account, automatically your trial balance is going to tally. And beyond that, your P&L balance sheet, everything is ready. Only conceptual errors can happen. So see, earlier our DAB chairman sir brought up that say, will it eliminate the requirement for all these technology? Will it eliminate the requirement for professional accountants? It would definitely not. See, today we are seeing technology, even in healthcare space, robotics, surgery devices, which does perform the surgery, which doesn't mean that there will be no nurses or doctors inside the operation theater. So it is only assisted by robots. It's not going to be completely performed by robots. Probably it may come in the future, but not in the near future. We are not looking at, and probably for low-hanging fruits, like easier services. So not complicated surgeries to the brain or to the heart, and all those are still performed by specialists, neurologists and cardiologists. All these guys perform these surgeries, so doctors. Similarly, even accounting services today, you look at it, there are solutions for doing the basic accounting. As I said, it's simplified. All you need is a set of say basic set of SOPs, standard operating procedures, and with that you can perform your accounting. But to be a strategic finance partner or a CFO, you cannot just rely on technology for that. You bring in your expertise, your background, knowledge, skills, everything comes into play. So technology definitely is not going to take over our profession or completely substitute us. it is going to make us more efficient in providing our services. So that is my take as well. So this, I was part of say some of the SAFA conferences as attendant as well as a presenter in the last 1 year, and I just went into the SAFA website and looked at it. So there is a lot of things about technology. So there were sessions about AI, chatbots, machine learning, cloud computing, and then say blockchain as such, and which also includes cryptocurrencies, deep learning, ABCD, your say artificial intelligence, blockchain, data analytics, say cybersecurity, data analytics. All these were covered. So these were all part of several sessions. So if you look at it closer, say SAFA has conducted about 20 sessions in this year so far, and 15 of those were about one or other of these technologies. So if you want to know more about, say, how technology impacts, say, professional accountants, we can have so many sessions of 3 hours each. We can go into all of these sessions. There are recordings available on YouTube. You can listen to those and gain a lot of knowledge about all these areas, which the AAB and the SAFA and other accounting boards. I've seen sessions from Chartered Accountants Institute of Pakistan and Bangladesh. They were also having their own sessions, and which is there in the SAFA portal, and I'm sure the recordings will also be available. So such a lot of sessions are available. So I thought, what can I talk more about all these sessions? So I was wondering how to say bring some more information about technology and talk about how a professional accountants firm, a firm of professional accountants can adopt this technology. So that, say, I was in a Gartner conference recently. So Gartner is a large consulting company, and they published this hype cycle. So hype cycle is where they talk about various latest technologies. Say, here you will see not just AI or ML. So we are talking about AI, ML, cybersecurity, which are all probably at a reasonably mature stage. But there are various sub-products from all these technologies, and a lot of development or innovation is happening in all these spaces. So if you look at it, there are say we even had a session on cloud computing. So how cloud computing can transform. So, and they also give how long will it take for all these technologies to become say really successful, where it gets into the productivity stage. You would have all seen the usual say product life cycle, right? Where there is this introduction phase, and then growth phase, and then say maturity and decline. This is our usual product life cycle. Whereas this hype cycle talks about initially there will be a lot of hype about products, then people will try to adopt, and they'll see that it's not helping their need. So they slowly get out, and then this stage is where it is going to be refined. So this is where a lot of refinement happens, and beyond that, it becomes a viable product for mass consumption, and people get it. So in this hype cycle, see, I took some examples from this, which are not generally discussed in our accounting forums. Those are the decentralized identity, which is today we are talking about your phones with your say DigiLocker, where you have a lot of information, which is your own. You are not sharing it with anyone, and there are say key pairs which are used to share this information with somebody who wants to verify that. So this is a decentralized way of storing your private information. And then say people are working on this, and if you go here, decentralized identity, it must be there somewhere. Yeah, here. So decentralized identity, it is well into the peak and slowly coming down. It may not necessarily come down all the way here. It can just move from here and get to the next stage. So decentralized identity is there at that space, and we are talking about time before it will reach the plateau stage. When will it come here? When will it become a standard product? People are already using it. That kind would happen about, say, 5 to 10 years is what is given by a survey or research performed by Gartner. And if you go to the next one, which is Web3. So earlier, original websites, I don't know how many of you were active users of website in the 90s. There were websites where you log in, you can check the information available there. That's the best you can do. Beyond that, you don't have anything to do with that. You are all just consumers of data or viewers of the content. Then Web 2 came in, where you can also post information. The days of Orkut and say Facebook, where websites are there, you can post your content and say you can download others' content. All these were there. These were enabled in the Web 2 stage. And again, first case, data is all owned. The servers are owned by a company, and they decide what is posted. They made money out of it. Then the second stage, there is an intermediary today, like a Google or a Facebook or Meta. These guys are there in the center, and people are all posting their information, sharing their information through this. And that is in the second stage. And here again, for us to share data or interact with each other, there is an intermediary involved. The next stage is Web3, where it is decentralized and it's based sort of blockchain technology, where you can directly interact with the other person, and you can trade with cryptocurrencies. You don't have to depend on say financial market based payments. So that is the rupees or the dollars or pounds, whatever it is. You don't have to use all this, and you can just trade with cryptocurrencies. And that's why even Indian Reserve Bank is trying to invest in cryptocurrency. Many say global central banks are trying to innovate or get into this digital currency stage, because they know that printed money is not going to be the future. So this Web3 is where you are directly interacting with your counterpart, whoever you are messaging or whoever you want to trade with. There is no intermediary involved. So you can directly work with the other person. So this intermediary is eliminated. And say that Web3 is somewhere here. It is close to reaching the plateau. And we are talking about, again, 5 to 10 years for this to mature. And digital humans, again, you would have seen some of this in movies, Hollywood movies, and in some Indian movies. Digital humans are not, say, we have seen robots say portrayed as human beings in many movies, but not actually digital humans, where your avatar is created, and that avatar will be working in this world. So suppose you can you have a very good staff. Say, think of a auditor's office. You have a very good staff of yours who's good in GST and income tax, and you would always say, keep telling, right, if only I have more of resources like this, more of my articles are like this. Now you can create that. So you want more articles who are super smart, you can create the digital versions of them, and they'll appear and behave in the same way as your original human, from where their digital version is taken. So say this digital version is created by extracting, reading into your behavior and your structure and all that. And see, where they will be using it is, suppose, as I said, somebody is very good in taxes, you want more of them, you can create. And some company requires a lot of customer service people, and they want the best, then you can create these digital humans. Say, today chatbot is doing that, but it is not close to the human behavior. You ask a question, it will most of the time respond with a predefined set of next set of questions. And when you are serious about getting the solution from a bank or from your say telecom service provider, and you are asking these questions and it is giving some unrelated answer, you are not very happy and you prefer to talk to that individual. Now, this digital human are those people who are going to be answering to you, and they are say digital versions of actual human beings. So that is also coming, and this is say not going to happen any soon. It's in various research stages of research, and it may take a lot more time. It's more than 10 years when it is available as a commonplace. And see, this is not some easy technology, and it would take probably I don't know many years, not just 10 plus. I'm just showing 10 plus here. Say we are in 2023. It may take even till 2060, 2070 before some of these can materialize in large scale. And I was talking about creating your own digital human for your income tax and GST may not happen in the next 40, 50 years. So that's why I was telling that replacing human beings or professional accountants is not going to be that easy. And next is the metaverse, where suppose you want to go to Switzerland, there is a digital you are wearing your say AR, artificial reality devices, and you are taken into a 3D space. I don't know how many of you have watched the movie Free Guy, which a Hollywood movie recently that came out. And if you watch that movie, you will see that a person can get into a 3D world as a participant and interact with people there. And it will be like living in a world, but it is not universe. It's a metaverse, the data version of the universe, the digital version of the universe, where you can actually go in. You can talk to people. There are real people who are all getting in there. Today, we are just typing in Facebook or loading images, and you are chatting with each other. So here, you are going to be physically look like physically being present in that space, in the metaverse, and interacting with people. And in the metaverse, you can travel to say various say countries, location, wherever you want, or probably even outside of the Earth to the space. People are talking about visiting the Mars or the Moon. You can go through the metaverse, say technology, using the metaverse technology, and it is still in a very early stage, and it will take a lot more time to come here. And they say 10 plus years. Again, these are all going to see, these are all today considered as science fiction, but see, people are working on it. There are a lot of companies which are working on it to make it a reality in the future. So this is the kind of technology innovation that is happening outside. So it's not, say, when we talk about all this, say, technologies, say these are all, see, that just the raw material. I would say, for want of the right word, I would say these are all raw material. And a lot of products are coming out of these raw material. So when I say AI is okay, computers are able to learn. So where am I using it is what is in the even in the digital humans. So I recently saw a video with forgot his name. I'm really sorry. He's one of the say he is the Tesla's CEO. I forgot his Elon Musk. So he was talking about inserting a chip about half-inch to 1-inch thick into your brain. They drill a hole in the skull and insert it and connect it to your neurons. So you will be able to live with the digital data flowing in and out of your brains. So you don't have to look up in say website for any information. You think of it, and this device will, which is directly connected to your brain, will immediately give you a response. So there is no longer a need for studying tons and tons of material and trying to clear this. All you need is the practice experience. So today you can learn about all this. So even today we do it when we are visiting a doctor. We read up about the disease, how it comes, and how to treat it before we even go to the doctor. and many, at least they are not that worse off compared to chartered accountants or our professional accountants, where the clients come with the solution. They want you to implement it, and they want you to sign the document based on their understanding of the industry and their company and their financials. They say that it's all done. I've read through this and I've made all the changes. I've complied with all the Ind AS I read through online, and here is the final numbers. Just sign it. And that's the kind of expectation our clients are coming up with. So it's not just reading; it is a lot more experience, practice, interpretation. All these come into play. So technology adoption is not that simple. So it goes beyond just knowing it, and you need to understand it, practice it. All those comes in. Okay, so moving on. So we saw some of these latest, and okay, I think I've confused you all a bit or even a lot by talking about all this. So how does all this relate to our practice? We are talking about riding the technology wave as professional accountants. How are we going to do it today? So where to head first? Okay, we know that there is technology and it is growing very fast. And as a professional accountant or a firm of professional accountants, I'm today wanting to really get into it. Where should I start first? So should I directly get into AI, machine learning, or say blockchain technology? So I would say don't step there first. So first is practice productivity improvement. Say today you have your own practice, and how to be efficiently managing it. Say I'll give you an example of a typical professional accountant practice or chartered accountant practice where I've been interacting with many of my friends who are all professional accountants or chartered accountants in practice. And what today they are doing is whenever I go into their office, I see a whiteboard. And in this whiteboard, they have written who's gone where, what are all the audits pending or in progress, whether we have started it or not, who is assigned, which article clerk or audit manager is in that process. So they have written it on that whiteboard, and when it started, when it will end. It will be a large but complex whiteboard where they have written all this, and they take a photograph of it in their phone. That's the adoption of technology. So tomorrow they want to see who is where. The whiteboard copy is there in their WhatsApp group, and they open it and see it. So that is the level of technology. And second stage is during the audit. Say this is the audit planning and all that stage. And then going into the execution stage, people are still having their working papers. I've seen entities which have printed working paper notebooks, and people are writing it on that, and then they are putting it in the shelves. So we are moving away from the paper-based world. So we are getting lot into technology. So, but still there are entities which are writing down their queries, sitting with the manager, asking the queries, answering it. Say you can do it, at least if you're doing it in an Excel and putting it in a drive for us to access it wherever you are. How many, say how much ever longer later you want to review those data. If it is easily available to access, then that is good. But what is happening is people are writing it in a paper and putting it in a shelf, and beyond some time it becomes ineligible, not possible to read. That is the state of those books. And many times it's put in a shed where the rainwater leaks. And even I'm not talking hypothetical situations. I've seen all this, and I'm giving the practical say scenario. People are printing it and leaving it, and then they don't know where they left it. Organizing physical papers are not that easy, so that is again a challenge. And then the next stage is report preparation. I know chartered accountants who need stenographers today. So they are looking for stenographers who know typing and shorthand. They want to dictate the report and have somebody type it and give a printout, and they'll physically correct the printout and then give it back to them. So and final version of the report is signed, printed, the invoice is kept on top, and with your sign and of a seal and all that, and it is sent to the client as a post. So see, this explains where we are today as practicing professionals. I'm not sure how many of the firms or the practicing professionals who are participating in this conference do it. But in general, this is what I see in many entities. But there are entities which are, say, medium size, large size, who have adopted technology and who are using it. That is also there. But many small entities are still in the age-old, using the age-old practices. So I would recommend starting with our own productivity improvement, our own practice productivity improvement. So there is still a lot of things where we have not, say, become technology enabled. So today, auditing, say, I don't have to explain this AI-powered auditing tool. There was one session exclusively for this in the last 6-7 months. You can go into SAFA website, look up the date, and retrieve the video and check. And I think these videos are all on YouTube. And my previous speaker, C.S. Sridharan sir, spoke a lot about using auditing tools, managing risks, and all that. So there is no question of sampling today. The system runs through the entire database of entries and gives you exceptions. So earlier you have to pick random samples and review it. Today it looks for outliers from the entire database and gives you those lines for you to audit. In addition to that, out of the unflagged transactions, you can pick some samples and audit it. So say in my practical experience, we were doing quality audit of transactions. So not this kind of audit. This is also, see, what we are doing is also similar to a quality audit. We are taking transactions and reviewing it for quality in all aspects. So we implemented a quality audit, AI-driven automation, ML-driven automation, where the entire productivity for a day from the transactions recorded by all these 5,000 plus employees are processed through this algorithm, and it picks samples based on risk. So transactions that are high have a higher risk for going wrong. Say we had various parameters which are fed in. The time of the day when the transaction was entered, one example. So if it is towards the end of the day, their work shift ends at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. There is some work being done there. They'll try to push that entry in because they have to complete their production target for the day. So they are doing this work in a rush. So when this goes in, automatically the AI flags it for us to audit. And of course, there are various other parameters. I'm just giving you one of the parameters. So this one parameter is reviewed and among other parameters. And if it say has a doubt, this ML program gets a doubt that this could be wrong, it pushes it. So we moved our usual audit percentage, error identification percentage, when we took random samples was around 2%, 3%. And after this, it moved up to 18%, which means we are able to identify the errors and fix it upfront before these transactions go out to the customers or to our payers. So this becomes efficient. So our auditing tools, there are several auditing tools they're available today, and say you can look up. Say I'm not trying to sell any product here, so there are various tools available today, and you can Google it, and you will get the top 3-4 solutions, or you can go into websites like Forbes, which gives you top 10, top 20 products for AI-powered auditing, and so on and so forth. Or you can even use analytic solutions like Power BI or Google Analytics to build your own analytics. So if you are tech savvy, you can build this analytics and review outliers on your own. So that is the first thing. And second one is, say when you are reading through a lot of say files and you are auditing, there are a lot of contracts entered into by this entity. Instead of reading through tons and tons of pages, you can apply some data extraction logic and get the data out. And the systems, again, there are systems for this, for OCR and summarizing. AI-driven summarizing is available. So it reads through the document for you and gives a summary of what is their key factors from that. So there are tools which are available online for this. And next is the RPA. So if you are doing repetitive task like GST filing every month for say 50 clients, 100 clients, and it is a strenuous process. And especially there are changes in articleship rules recently, so there could be more pressure on auditing firms in India. I don't know about the rest of the world, and so we can use some RPA there, where the productivity will automatically go up. It need not be, say, I would say technology adoption need not be 100%. We can make it an enabler. So technology can become an enabler of the process. So have some RPA for some of the say time-consuming processes, but still have a resource person or say expert, GST expert monitoring the process. So handling the exceptions and all that. So that would definitely increase the firm's productivity. See, I'm talking about improving the firm's performance as such, the ability to handle more client and ability to service more clients, more work, different variety of work, which are all possible only if you can free up your time, free up the time of your experts. And then there are various cloud solutions. I've just said tax filing, but there are cloud solutions for financial statement preparation. See, at the end of the year, you upload the backup from the accounting software into these solutions. Again, there are products available. I've been using it. So once you upload the backup from the ERP, whatever accounting software is loaded into this, it prepares, it first asks you questions about exceptions. It reads through the entire backup and highlights some of the exceptions. These looks like these items look like a problem, outliers, or not in trend, and it will ask us to give some explanations or ignore it. If we know that, okay, this is a transaction that happened. Suppose salary cost. Every month it is at say 40 lakhs and 1 month it is suddenly at 70 lakhs. The solution will flag that. The online solution will say that there is a 70 lakhs in 1 year. The rest of the months it's around 40 to 50 lakhs. Then we can say, no, it was a variable pay payment during that period. Right around Diwali, they paid the bonus for all the employees, example. So it went up. So you can flag it as okay. And if there are other exceptions, suddenly some numbers are off, then those are also highlighted and you are given to conclude. So it is also acting as an auditing tool. And after that, once you cleared all this and you input the director's information and chart account information into it and the UDIN into it, it prepares the financial statements in Schedule 3 format, the latest format, and publishes it as a PDF as well as an Excel. So you don't have to sit and prepare this. I've seen even today, there are a lot of companies just now, they would have finished all that and say sat back and would be relaxing and probably attending this session today. Any session last month would have been difficult for them to attend. So there are people who are preparing, spending hours together. Say they take a day or half a day to 1 day for each client to complete this preparation of financial statements in a particular format. So similarly, tax filing, there are many online tax filing solutions which is regularly updated with the latest in the income tax. Say there are amendments, there are direction changes, there are different alternatives available to choose from. All these are updated in these cloud solutions. So once you put in the data, it will compute and give it to you as a file which can be uploaded into your income tax portal. So, and they are also inviting chartered accountant partners to use it for a very fair price. They let you use it for many of your clients. So you can, instead of doing it on Excel, you do it on their tool. Say commercially, how it will turn out in the future, you may not know. But today it is a very efficient productivity management tool. And workforce management and product management, as I said, we are still using whiteboards. So move away from the whiteboards and get into proper solutions and calendars and sending tasks to people on their phone, and they know where they have to go today. And there are solutions, say this workforce management, you assign the task and you can document your notes there and the client feedback, and these could be locked after an audit. These are all available in various tools today. So one is your planning, and then your execution, your reporting, all of this can be managed using these work management tools. And many solutions which you need to customize to your need, the power is given to you. So you can customize these, are given for free. So you spend some time. If you are a senior chartered accountant, you are busy with consulting work, you can say groom some of your articles who are all today the Gen Z or Gen A, the next series. Sorry. So they can actually, if you encourage them, they'll love to spend time on exploring all these and designing the solution for your entity. And you can use it to efficiently run the enterprise. So these are all some of the say suggestions I have here, and there are various other things too. So it's not just these. There are various other ways you can once say you intuitively look with a technology frame of mind, look into all these processes that's happening in your uh, say offices. You can surely come up with a lot of automation and a lot of technology adoption. So say I've seen this video. I saw CA Gurus, Sri Gurus sir from Bangalore. He was there in the conference on startups in Mumbai a few months back. I was there. He was talking about a 600-member audit firm, and it is a paperless firm. So everything is online. So they have put in their best effort to automate every process or avoid using papers. Say today, digital signature is there. When you are sending reports, attach the DSC and send it out. Don't try to print it, sign it physically, and give it. And invoices can also be sent online. And if they insist on signature, you can use your digital signature and send it out. So these are all things which you can do to expedite your process. And this also makes it reduces your say revenue cycle. So working capital cycle normally, if you send a paper form, it takes 7 days, and they have to physically review it and all that. So as soon as the audit is complete, if you can send this digital say invoice as soon as you are done, the payments are released in the next 1 or 2 days. I've seen that in my own firm. So they are very quick in making the payments in this digital form than in the physical form, because one of these months in my friend's place, they've lost the paper form. They don't know where it is. Whereas these digitals, since it directly hits their systems, they are quickly processing it. So these are all some productivity improvement options. So start with your own self first, technology adoption for your own self, and then moving into the next stage. So, but these are all the usual challenges. I think many of these I've discussed. Do you really invest in technology? No, because I know there are a lot of CAs who are always busy in their routines. So they are having these calls, meetings, and they're managing their practice, their articles, assigning work, reviewing their work. They don't have time for doing this. So at some point, you have to put your foot down and say, I need to spend the time to implement the technology. I cannot just keep giving this excuse of not being, say, free. It's not your free time you invest in this. It is part of your process. It is part of your job that you invest in, say, automating your process. Otherwise, it will become difficult in the long run. And with the changes happening in the technology as well as in our, say, subject matter, it will be difficult to continue in this busy routine all the time. So you have to step out of this and start spending more time in automating these processes, improving the productivity, and say self-control process where you don't have to review day in, day out. The system is able to review and send reminders if somebody is not delivering the returns on time and all that for your team. And then investing time in learning the technology, that is also important. And also in the new technology that you are bringing in, you cannot just say, okay, I bought a technology, give it to the office, they will use it. They may not use it unless there is a, say, it's a top driven approach. You have to first start questioning based on the technology. Say example, workforce management. I have my audit planning happening in this tool. My questions should also be through the tool. If there is a chat option, I have to send questions from this tool. Only then people will regularly start logging in. Suppose I'm going to pick up the phone and talk to them all the time, then they may not even get into this system. Once they see that this is what is assigned to them, they get out of the system and start working around the system. We don't want that happening. We want people to say seriously spend time with the, say, technology and use it. That can happen only if it is a top driven approach. And then the partial adoption. Some of the part you use it, okay, for calendars, we'll use the workforce management. Rest of it, we'll still use papers. Right? It's not going to help. Eventually, you will easily come out. The rollback will happen. So your process should be to ensure that you are getting into the technology and staying there. You can come out to get to a better technology. So you feel that this is not good, I want to move to a better technology, then you can do it. Otherwise, it's not worth it. So investing time, say, as I said, once you have that technology frame of mind, you will easily identify those needs. Every place there is a need for technology. And look at the kind of technology people are investing in, using the raw material I was talking about. Those raw materials are used in creating a lot of products which are out of the whack, I would say. So for us to review our own processes and say looking at opportunity to say automate, there is a lot of options available. So need identification and then technology selection. So we need to go and look for the right product, select it, procure it, and then start training your team. And again, say when a lot of large companies, IT space, I'm talking about the information technology or the software companies are talking about 30%, 40% attrition. Think about it, with a 2-year articleship period, you will have a 50% attrition. Every year, half the team is going to go out and new team is going to come in. So you need to have a proper training in place, a structure in place, if possible, e-learning inside the entity, put in e-learning solutions. So people sit, understand how it works, how the technology works, and start working. So there is a GST RPA, and there must be a e-learning to teach the user to how to run this GST RPA. So once they are in, you are putting them onto the solution, they learn it, and then they start using it. First 1 or 2 days, they can ask doubts. Beyond that, they'll be on their own. So that is the kind of training system you need to have in the office. So see, all these are not going to happen overnight, but there must be serious effort towards adoption of technology to, say, staying ahead of the race or staying with the lead runners. If you want to be among the top in the practice, then you cannot be spending your time with freshers every time. I'm a practicing chartered accountant. There are 2 freshers. I go spend my time with them, train them about what is GST, how to do this RPA. And then 1 year later, they are seniors. They go out to audit. Freshers come in. I need to sit and train them. And can I make my seniors train them? They are on exam leave or something goes on. So the burden is on me. So now shift the burden to technology and let technology run it for you. So, say sometime back, say our senior speaker was talking about relying on technology for accuracy, for completeness. All these are possible. So having this paper checklist are of the old age. So let technology get in. And once your training and implementation is done, you have to continue to use it, ongoing usage. And then come back to need identification. As I said, you can shift to a better technology, but not roll back. Roll back to your old paper-based manual methods. So this is adoption in your own entity. Now going beyond productivity. So I've taken care of my productivity, and now I want to go beyond that. So where is my opportunity? So now you have taken care of your basics at your place. Now you are going to explore, say, look for the horizon. What is that? So when you go there, there are several technology-based services you could offer. And again, I'm just trying to summarize whatever was dealt with in all these sessions over the last year or beyond that. And there are a lot of information available about opportunities, professional opportunities for professional accountants in the technology space. And say these are all under the, say going by the fact that I always believe that the IQ of chartered accountants are far better than the average, far better than the average. So we are able to understand businesses, because knowledge of the client's business is part of our requirement to do an audit. So we understand businesses, whether it is biotechnology or agriculture or software, we need to understand their business, and we are able to do it. Say, though there are risks involved, though there are stray instances of, say, default happening, but still, in general, we are able to understand, ask the right questions, and ensure that the risk is mitigated. So that is what we are doing. So in general, we are of higher caliber, and we should be able to provide all these services understand what is happening, and provide this technology-based services. So you are not providing the technology, you are providing the service to say either implement the technology or review the technology and all that. So these are all, that's why I called technology-based services. So these are all the technology-based services I was talking about. So ERP implementation or accounting software or any software implementation. Suppose the client wants to implement a new ERP. We can always come and say, there was an assignment like that for me, a requirement from my client that they were moving to a new ERP. They wanted me to come and review their chart of accounts. Is this okay? Grouping of accounts. Is this how I have to do it? So since we are looking at the chart of accounts of many companies, we'll be able to give some insightful information to them. Okay, group all this together, group all this together. Again, they can always go and review it online and they'll get it. But they are not, see, they're all businessmen. They want professional accountants to guide them to set their ERP right, the process flow right in the system, how the invoices should go, how the internal controls must be addressed, say common say tasks which are conflicting must not be given to the same person, like approving the invoice and paying the payment. So all this you can tell them. So many ERPs come with this standard operating procedures. This is how you have to do it, but they still want the support of professional accountants to do it. IT governance and general governance support. So when they are doing their say governance structure, they want us to come in and at least in the finance pillar, and if possible in all the pillars, help them with setting the governance right and reviewing it periodically to ensure that there is ongoing compliance by the company, the staff there, and enterprise risk management, various kinds of risk with product, market, people. See, we understand all this. See, that is the advantage. See, once you read through this, these are all not very complex, at least at the caliber of chartered accountants. These are all not very complex. You read about enterprise risk management, you will understand it, and then you'll be able to support them the right way. So it may say many of this may not be easily comprehensible for say other professionals. Because the kind of work we are doing, where we always work with different kind of companies, getting into their business process, reviewing their production flow and their market, and assessing their risk, and see, we have to report on say going concern. This company has a problem. We have to understand the market about going concern, and then impairment of assets. When there are cost generating units, you need to understand how this cost generating unit is going to be performing in the future. Is the discounted cash flow in today's terms is better than the cost or lower than the cost? Should you be providing for it? And say it looks simple in terms of say the AS language. It's simple. Whereas when you go in, you need to understand the function of the cost generating unit, what is happening inside that unit, and then look at the discounted cash flows. Are these cash flows reasonable? What they are projecting as future cash flows, is it okay? Is it in line with the market expectations? So you have to spend some time in understanding all that and then assess it. So we do this day in, day out. So we are able to understand how a company operates, and we are able to support it. And then application development support, helping them selecting the right solution provider, build or make solutions. All those we can be a part of their team to help implement this application development, as well as say selection, development, testing, and implementation. We can be part of all those services. And process automation. You don't have to do the automation here. This is a technology-based services. When they are doing a process automation, you have to ensure that as part of the audit. Say suddenly they say that, sir, today there are solutions available to automate the receivable process, payable process. So you are supposed to review it and ensure that it is actually delivering the promise, completely automated without any errors, zero error. Then you have to ensure that that is there. This what the RPA or this system automation claims that it will make happen. Say 100% productivity, zero errors, fast turnaround time. All those you have to ensure is really there by being part of the automation process, say right from the design stage, and also performing the testing and auditing and all those. And then process re-engineering. You can look at all the processes, where the challenges are. See, process reengineering need not always involve some technology. It can be some basic process change. So addressing that bottleneck. So you can be part of it. As I said, see, now that you have the experience, suppose after 10 years, 15 years, you have worked in various industries, which many other professionals can only dream about. So you are able to work in so many different industries and say geography, that you will know a lot of information, and you can use that to help people re-engineer their process. Say simply say a factory layout. If you can help improve their factory layout, which is not any artificial intelligence or machine learning, you're looking at the factory, walking through the factory floor and looking at whether this can be improved. Some basic changes like where the warehouse is there placed, where is the finished goods storage, where is the raw material storage. All those, if you can simply provide insights, it will be a lot of value to the entity. You don't know how much you will be saving. So data visualization, when they are building their data visualization, you can provide the right kind of charts. So there are online solutions available. Which data should be looked as bar charts, which should be looked as pie charts, which should be looked as bubble charts. People always don't know, but since we have that, we live with numbers all the time, we understand how these numbers must be presented. Or even if you don't know all the charts and how it should be presented, there are cheat sheets available. You can look at it and then you will be quickly getting it. So I'm sure about it. All we need is spending that time with the solution. And data analytics, helping them review their data, and say sitting next to the team, telling them what is required. You don't have to know programming. You are just helping them identify a solution. In many of these cases, whether it is AI ML implementation, I'll finish this. Let's say AI ML implementation. They are going for a automation project with AI and ML. Whether it is meaningful, successful, all those you can. All those you can as knowledgeable people who know their process, the general technology and the industry, and have a lot of business acumen because of the expertise, the practice, years of practice. You can easily help them do all this, their cybersecurity assessment. And of course, IS audit is always part of the portfolio of many firms now. So all these doesn't require you to be a programmer. Suppose you want to support application development, you don't have to be a programmer. You can say understand what is the business requirement. You will obviously understand that, and there is a programmer who's sitting and programming. You check, sit next to him, you do a UAT for him, and once the UAT is successful, you can say good. Or the design stage, how it is designed, and whether the screen is very interactive, makes the process easier. All those you'll be able to surely contribute towards. So this is how I look at these technology-based services. And there is a lot of opportunity here. Say recently we had requests for chartered accountants to support technology implementation in large organizations, and some of my say peers are say providing that service. And there is excellent feedback. Say they are far more happy than getting PMP certified people who don't have this kind of background. Because these chartered accountants in practice have a lot of business acumen and they have been interacting with different industries, they are able to understand the requirement and anchor this role very well. So they are able to drive the implementation in these large multinationals. I'm talking about companies present in 80 plus countries doing a world level say change of technology. They were using a different technology earlier and they are moving to a latest technology. And they tried say consulting firms who are not chartered accountants, who are general consultants, technology consultants with PMP certification. And then they finally requested me. I referred some people, and they are all say rock stars in the company. They are really impressed with them. So that is the kind of solution definitely chartered accountants can give. So this is the second stage. First stage is first keep your yard clean, backyard clean. Then come out and start offering these professional services. Spend some time. How will be able to spend some time when you are busy with all the monthly returns and the quarterly returns and running behind these people, whether they have delivered the report on time? It will be difficult. So you have to free up your space. Only then you can get into all this. ERM is not difficult. You spend a week, you'll be able to easily understand ERM and start providing services. How do I start providing these services? Go into the company, ask for their recent ERM report. You will be able to understand it after a 1 week preparation. I'm talking about. You go in and ask for their ERM report as part of the internal audit or statutory audit you are doing, and ask the right questions from this ERM. Whether you have covered all the people resources, whether this is sufficient. Because tomorrow, why should I give it to you? That could be a question. Why should I give my ERM paper to a statutory audit? You can say, I'm reviewing the going concern. Are all your key managerial personnel included in the ERM? Because any of them go out. Your chief marketing officer goes out, or your chief technology officer goes out. He knows everything about your technology. He need not take a copy. He has that idea in his head, which he can create. Inspired by your idea, you can create another product. So we know this happens in all these businesses, and you may eventually be driven out. So all these are possible. So you can ask for these reports, understand, and then start asking the right questions. Once the client is impressed, they will definitely call you for supporting them with all these processes. So that is the entry point. And then the ultimate destination, if I want to move away from providing these services, then what should I do? The next stage is technology-driven solutions. So it is not around the technology. You are using the technology to provide solutions to your companies or your clients. You need not be a practicing chartered accountant. You can be a non-practicing professional accountant. You can start doing PMS, portfolio management services, or say build your own product, AI/ML based product in the SaaS world. Say there are SaaS for fintech. It is all not going to be built by pure engineers. It's going to be chartered accountants or professional accountants who are there, who are doing the thinking in the backend. Strategizing in the backend is done by these people. And of course, the product is being developed based on requirements by say engineers. But the real idea, the strategy, all these comes from people who understand the technology. So predictive analytics, predicting the market, automated trading. So there are so many things where you can come up with a product today. There is a need in various spaces. So once you understand technology, the raw material, and you see a problem, you'll be able to connect the dots. So you are seeing this problem day in, day out. Say, think about all the BRS happening today. Say there is always, BRS has always been the, say, first in the rule book for auditing. You have to check the BRS. A large fiascos like the Satyam was a problem because of BRS was not reviewed. So how is the BRS prepared today? They are able to, the software is able to get the API or data feed from the banks in the backend. So once you give the bank details, they connect with the bank server, get all your transactions, and prepare the BRS in the system itself, and give you only those which are issued, not presented, or deposited, not cleared. All those alone is given to you, or all these charges, and it gives it to you in the screen. You can just push it, pass the entry there. Once the technology is so advanced that once all the transactions are connected, it compares it with your ledger and says that these 5-6 transactions are not posted. Example, there is a direct remittance of money from your client to your bank account, or there is a bank charge, and all these checks issued not presented. They immediately give it to you, ask you to pass wherever entries are required. They immediately show you what entry you want to pass. You can select an account in the drop down and submit, and it will pass the entry. So that's how the technology is being run today. And I'm sure anything to do with fintech, there are a lot of professional accountants like ours who are in the back end, who are providing this idea to the enterprise, the board. They are part of the board. They are providing the solution, and there is definitely opportunity here. Okay, so far talked about what needs to be done in your backyard and what solutions you can provide. And again, I'm not elaborating on all these because all these 15 sessions I've talked about in the beginning at SAFA, they were all about all this. So audit or AI/ML solutions, or all this cyber security, whatever we talked in the previous slide. So all these are covered there. So you have to go through all these sessions or look up online. And say where to start. Okay, I know I have to implement all this. I need to understand all these jargons, the ML, the machine learning and artificial intelligence, how it works, data science, data analytics. So there is a place where you can start. So how to get there? It looks like now, okay, I know what to be done and I know how to do it. It looks very, say, blurred now. So that's where I came up with my own, say, acronym, a LEAP methodology. So first you have to learn the subject, gain some experience. How do I gain the experience? I don't have to sit and code. As I said, you can always say understand it in your client's place, in the products they have implemented. You can go talk to the people, understand the process, understand how they have done it. Many companies are implementing technology solutions today. You can always learn it from them, or go into say a lot of these online sources where you can learn about what these technologies are, how they are working, how they have implemented it in their company. Say this anti-money laundering based products are being implemented by a lot of these banks. So when you get to get a chance to go into the bank, ask for their product, how it works, you can ask that. Or they are also doing their customer analysis. So whether they will their credit analysis using machine learning, and this machine learning algorithm refreshes every 6 months or 12 months or 18 months, depending on the frequency the banks have set. And periodically it updates the credit score of the customer. Earlier, somebody had a bad score. Today, they have a good score. They will call them and offer a loan. And earlier, they had a good score. Now they don't have a good score. They'll ask them follow for repayment of their loan. And they'll even provide some offer to foreclose because they don't want that customer. Their scores have gone down. Retaining them would result in bad debt. So NPAs. And why retain them for long? So give them an offer to foreclose. So all these are happening in the back end. So you can ask question about all this, or there are a lot of online content available about all this. So learn the subject, gain the experience, analyze and specialize what I want to really do. So I analyze and specialize in. You cannot be a master in everything. There is a lot happening here. Pick your favorite ones. So you like some of it when you're reading it, then pick those and then partner up. Why say partner up is, say today I provide say machine learning solutions. I don't sit and code. I have partnered with entities for product development, for AI ML solutions, for data visualization, so that when there is a requirement, we can pair with a partner and provide these services. Who is answerable to the client is me. So the front end of the say the people in the firing line, or the front end for the client is me. I have to run the project. I have to ensure delivery, and all that is my responsibility. But there are partners who are available to provide these services even to us. And they'll be more than happy to partner up with a chartered accountant because we have access to many organizations. So they will be offering you very good rates because you will be giving them routine work. So you can partner up and start providing these services. And without knowledge of all these technology, you will not be able to even get into a partner. Once you talk their language and you know how it's done, then they'll be more than happy to work with you. Because once they sign up an agreement with somebody who doesn't know the subject, it's trouble for them. So suppose you commit to unreasonable timelines, and there will be a lot of conflict between you and the partner, and the delivery will get affected. The client will be lost, and the image is also compromised because of this. So unless you learn the subject, gain experience, this will become difficult. So get into this LEAP approach and start delivering these solutions. And there are a lot of online sources available for us to learn from. Say this NPTEL is a national portal of all the IITs and IIScs in India. They have come together and they are offering tons of courses, thousands of programs online available on technology on various areas. You can always go, and everything is free. You can go take the course. And so I would say you don't have to even get certified. If you are serious about learning, learn the program and come out. So you don't have to ensure that you get a certificate for that, because you are not going to be judged based on your certification. It's going to be based on your knowledge. So gain the knowledge, and you can skip the assessment. Or if you love to have the certificate, there is no restriction. You can always do it. And then similarly, IIT Delhi is also part of this NPTEL, but you can always go into say. I'm just giving an example here. Every IIT has their own portal where you can log in and work. And then Khan Academy, non-profit academy, where you can learn about everything under the sun. I would say you can go and learn about machine learning technology, whatever you want to learn, you can learn. And their videos are all available for free on YouTube. And because of the say mission of this entity, Google, Microsoft, everyone is funding them. So they are a free to use online portal. And Coursera has many free courses and some paid courses, many paid courses, I would not say some. And the fees are all very less. Say per program, it is 2,000 rupees for per certification, 3,000 rupees per certification, which you go into a college and do it, it will cost you a lot more, multiple times of that. So you can do it at your own time. They give you, if you can spend 6 hours a week or 10 hours a week, that's the kind of programs. All these guys have these kind of programs, and you can spend time. And as I said, it's not spending free time in these areas. It should be part of your key result areas, your own target achievement goals. So, and then many portals like Azure, Microsoft Azure, AWS, Amazon Web Services, all these people are also providing solution training along with how to do it in their environment. So if it is Azure, it's Microsoft Azure, they teach you how to do this in their environment. Any technology, not just AML. Suppose you want to do data visualization, they teach you how to do it in their environment. Similarly, all these service providers have a lot of programs which are free again. You don't have to pay for it. You can learn it and start using it. And many of these applications are also free to use. If you are not, say, you don't have to pay for all this, you can download it, install it in your system and use it. Some basic SQL services, Python and Power BI, all these are free to use on your system. So, and you can always export it into a presentation and start using it. So this is where I stop, I guess. So the wave is really high, and it is on us. If we structure our, say, strategy or the mission, how to get into this, how to do it. The vision is clear. We want to get into this. We want to make the best out of this opportunity. How to do it? Put a structure in place and start implementing it. As I said, it's not a free time exercise. It's not some extracurricular for you. It's all basics. As Mr. CA, Mr. Sridhar also said, it's you will be eliminated if you are not updating yourself, staying abreast of all this technology. Because now it is like knowing income tax, knowing GST, knowing company law, knowing auditing, you should also know technology. So that's where we are. And that's why they are integrated into our programs throughout the course and even beyond that. And DAAB is there to provide us a lot of information about what is happening in this space. So with all this, good luck. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Hey, Paramveer, you are there?
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much, sir, for your kind words and your detailed elaboration. And I hope that all the participants have gained the knowledge which have been shared by you today. So I, CA Paramveer Kaur, bid a warm thanks to our renowned speakers who took their valuable time and joined us today to participate in this webinar. I also thank Digital Accounting and Assurance Board of ICAI for organizing such a wonderful webinar on very informative topics for the professional colleagues. I thank CA Charanjot Singh Nanda sir and CA Nihar Jambusaria sir for actively conducting this webinar. And last but not the least, I would like to thank all the members who have participated today for this wonderful session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Good night.
Yes, sir, we can conclude.